The word says there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. Things will continue to repeat itself, but it will become more wicked every time it repeats itself. Let's listen to this man of Yah speak the truth.
On the wedding day in front of everybody and then leave the husband alive. And then what the husband does, because he's dishonored in their culture, he kills himself. And they do this for fun, for entertainment. Isn't that incredible? But this is what, and so don't think for a minute that this isn't you. Because that's our problem. We look over and we see all that wickedness and just horrific stuff going on in other countries and in our country. And we think, oh, they're so evil. They're so wicked. How could they murder children and burn them in fires and do all this kind of stuff? Strap bombs to their children and send them in to blow up the enemy. You know, they do that, right? Yeah, and Americans and stuff did equally just sinister stuff. I'm just going on a rant here, but we have in our books, have them all here, that back in this country, when they came in and slaughtered the Indians, they would actually got so barbaric that the children would play games kicking severed heads down the street because it was just like kind of like a comical game for them. Google that, check that one out. And don't think that's you. I remember seeing over where the Germans were throwing up Jewish babies for doing skeet. Like to shoot, they would take the babies and throw them up in the air, and then people would take shots at them. And don't think for a minute that that's not you, because that's how we are. And that's when you're void of Yahweh and separated from him, and then you're around a bunch of people, your heart magnifies and it grows. Such as Cain murdered his brother Abel, and then he made the first city, and as the cities birthed, cities destroyed entire cities. Kingdoms later will destroy entire kingdoms, and nations will destroy entire nations. You see the magnification? What happens? Huh? Should I throw a pin at you? Are you awake? Okay. You can never tell. Take another drink of coffee. All right. So the next question then will come from everything I just said. Well, since we see kings are so utterly wicked from the line of the serpent, well, what about if Israel then chooses a king from the line of Seth? Well, surely that's going to make everything better, right? Surely that's going to answer all our questions and all our problems. And that was King Saul. And we read about King Saul last week, what the prophecy was going to be concerning him, that Yahweh gave to Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 8, epic failure as a result of choosing a human king in the line of Seth, right? So the next question comes, well, hey, we chose a king for ourselves, and yeah, we should have listened. Yeah, we made a mistake. So how about we let Yahweh choose a king? Yahweh, you hand select a king out of the line of Seth, a king after your heart. Because if we have a king that's after your heart and not his own heart, then we'll finally have Eden again, restoration. Oh, and they almost had it, didn't they? Weren't they so close with King David, a man that Yahweh selected? And in fact, he created New Jerusalem where Yahweh's name dwelt, and Jerusalem was a mirror image of Eden. That's what the biblical authors wanted you to see. And in fact, you have in the Psalms, and we're going to get there in future teachings, but you have, when they're writing about Jerusalem, you can't tell, are they talking about Jerusalem or are they talking about Shemaim? Is this the heavenly city or is this the earthly city? Because they're talking just one and the same. It was like, yes, the answer is yes, it's both. Jerusalem was to be Eden on earth, the city of Yahweh on earth, where Yah once again would dwell with his people, and that David made all these things possible. But how did that go? How did it end up? It ended up as epic failure, adultery, murder, senseless negligence on behalf of David that caused the death of 70,000 men. And then we see that the sons of David, they didn't rule any better. You have Solomon getting all the wisdom on earth, only second to Yeshua HaMashiach himself. And how did that go? Not good at all. And in fact, how did Jerusalem end up? How did the temple end up? Not one stone left upon another. completely crumbled. And since I believe Yeshua HaMashiach not to be a false prophet, there is no way in Yahweh's green earth that can be a temple wall that the Jews go over and pray at, and the Wailing Wall. It can't be.
So we see men continue to fail over and over again. But what can we do about it as women, as sisters? We can actually be the helpmeet that the Father, our Heavenly Father, called us to be in the first place. It's time to stop defending wickedness, be it your husband, be it your cousin, your father, your uncle, your friend. It's time to stop. Stop being a part of wickedness. Stop defending it and stand up and be women like Esther, who wasn't afraid to stand up for what was right and to go against even the king, which was her husband, to make him see and understand. It's time to be like Abigail, who had a wicked husband, but yet went against him for righteousness' sake. It's time to stand. The men need our help as helpmeet. If we stand up and get it together, get rid of the sin that dwells in us, maybe then we can be more like Deborah, Rahab's, Abigail's, Esther's, more like the women who stood and made a difference in life and change. It is time that we do our rightful place. We know Eve did not do her part. We know that. But we today can make a difference and become the helpmate that we were always supposed to be. Be blessed, my sisters. Stand up for righteousness, even if it goes against people we love. It's time to make a change. Shalom.